I like it.
Well, you gotta wait for it to come up so you can show everybody your reaction. So there's a new scene that's about to show up because of the delay. Here you go. Hopefully it'll show it. Wait, we're waiting to see the intro, folks. Where she is, anyway.
Well, that's TMI.
Oh, well, hopefully the intro will show here in a second. Is there that much of a delay? There you go. Patrick. Megan. Homesteading to the death. Tuesday Night Live.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
Hey, folks, I'm Patrick. Oh,
turn the sound.
I gotta turn the sound off on that. There. I turned it on for a reason. And internet's horrible for some reason. What is going on? It's plugged in too. It's kind of bugging me. I think our cell tower is like getting boo.
Doc likes the opening.
Good.
We don't have the hitch yet. It's supposed to get delivered tomorrow, or the rails are.
I already said that.
Oh.
If you read that. All right, where are we at? We're right here. Okay. We're up live. I'm Patrick.
I'm Megan.
And
we're to homestead to the death.
Yes. In house clothes.
In house clothes, yeah. Yes. I got caught in my book, and then you're like, "That's 9 o'clock," and I still had to pay.
Yeah. Well, she was trying to get through the book in time.
No, I was.
Yeah.
I was trying.
Open up my ice cream here. My little strawberry bar. Strawberry. What's going on today? What's going on this week? What's happened since last week? There's a bug on the screen here.
Oh, wait. So you're done with your plastic. Seriously.
I gotta get the stick. Alright.
We bought a trailer. Like a camping trailer.
Alright. Before we give too much information away. We've talked about tonight with Robin. What do you have to say on here? About the...
I wasn't going to.
Just letting you know.
Why would that even come up?
I don't know, just in case. There's some behind-the-scenes stuff that people don't need to know about.
Okay.
We bought a fifth wheel this weekend.
That had not... You making shit unnecessary.
Oh, hey, watch that language.
Anyway, we bought a trailer. We got a camping trailer. We've been talking about getting one for a while.
A long time.
We used my parents' pop-up camper when we went down to Big Bear Homestead last time, and we realized very quickly it was not for us.
No, it was not.
We need something a little more solid, a little more
contained,
homey for our life and our child and our dogs. So we've been talking about getting a camper for a while, and we've been looking and looking, and we finally found some. Yeah, and so we went out to the coast, out to Sunset Beach.
They don't even know how much we spent either.
I wasn't going to say that. And we started looking at pull-behind trailers, because that's what we had in mind. You know, we got the truck, let's pull a trailer. And we found one that we really liked. It was very, very nice. But it was also far more than we realized we probably needed. Space-wise, thing was like 34 feet long.
Oh my God.
The Zinger, it was beautiful.
Brad, Full Spectrum Survival, welcome. Good to see you on board again.
And so we did that, and then we were like, let's keep looking. And we were like, well, let's look at the fifth wheels, because there was a smaller one up there. And we're like, well, let's go look at it. And so we walked into it, and it was just like, this is ours. It clicked. It had everything we were looking for. It wasn't as long. It's only 26 feet long.
It looked brand new.
It looks brand new. It's a 2012, but it looks brand new. And so we did the thing, and we bought it. Yep. And
Now
We kind of
gotta-
put the cart before the horse
did.
because we own a fifth wheel trailer. However, my truck does not have a fifth
wheel
wheel hitch.
Yeah.
So we've ordered the hitch, the rail bars and everything should be in tomorrow.
We'll be installing it ourselves.
And
DIY.
which we installed when we got the truck, it had been a rental vehicle, so it was like, there was no hitch on it. They don't want people towing stuff.
But it did have a tow. It had a tow package without the hitch.
Yeah, it had a tow package on it just because of the truck that it is, but there was no actual hitch. So we put the hitch on ourselves. We're gonna put the rails and the hitch for the fifth wheel on by ourselves. So it took a little, I guess, finessing because it's a 6.5 foot bed instead of an 8 foot bed, and so we had to get a certain kind of hitch, which I didn't even know was a thing, but luckily Pat looked into it.
So long story short, people, there are nice people out there.
Yeah, the guy was amazing.
The owner.
He's the owner, and he fell in love with Huxley. He has a grandson that is autistic, so little autistic boys have a special place in his life and his heart. And
it was funny because he was like, the salesman was like, "Well, I don't know if we can haggle any farther. It's got brand new wheels on."
Which we were going to pay
blah,
the
blah,
asking price anyway. Like, it was definitely
Fine.
worth it. Like, we had no qualms with that. But he took...
Guy said, your son touched my heart.
He made my day. Yeah. And he cut us a damn good deal. To the point that I cried.
It was $2,000 below the actual asking.
Yeah. And
more than that. And it was literally at cost for what they didn't make any money on it.
Yeah, it was just an amazing experience. The salesmen were great. So if anybody, Sunset RV and Sunset Beach,
go check them out.
It's worth it.
It's a used RV lot, and everything is completely, I don't say refurbished, but it's brought up to speed. And before you buy the vehicle, they hook everything up so you can make sure
everything works.
Nothing leaks, that the electric works, the air conditioning works.
Yeah, it's got 5 brand new tires. It's a double axle, so 4 on the road, 1 on, 1 spare. The roof's already been resealed, so we don't have to worry about that. Like, we lucked out and things came together, and we ended up getting something that was far better than what we had actually figured we'd end up with. So we're super excited about that. Can't wait to use it. We'll be taking it down to Big Bear in a couple weeks. Try it out for the first time, so it's exciting.
So Doc Fair says, at Breakaway, so you bought a ballless truck.
We did, but now it's got a triple ball, so...
it
does have a triple.
Truck. It's got a triple ball now.
Yeah.
It's got 3 balls.
So, but yeah, so we did that. We're very happy with it. Huxley loved it, was running around and getting into everything. And it's got bunk beds in the back, which was a big deal for us because we wanted it to be as normal for him. And he's got a loft bed, so having kind of a bunk beddy loft situation.
It helps.
It helps with him because it's closer to what he knows is his own. It's got the front bedroom, which is actually a decent size, like around the bed. Trailers can be kind of tight sometimes. It's got a
queen size bed.
Yeah, it's got a slide out on it, so it definitely opens up the kitchen area. And
yep.
So
we feel like we're becoming those people.
Yeah, we are becoming those people.
So,
got the golden retriever in the trailer in the yard. And
so bees ran away. Bees flew away.
Yeah, they did. We just found that out today. They were here 2 days ago.
There were bees inside that. So you know what? I really need to get in there and check and make sure everything's okay, whatnot. And there was just one wax moth infestation right there. Like, there's one spot the size of a quarter with like 2 wax worms in it, and they left the whole thing.
They bounced.
But they were great bees, to say the least. They are still here. We're adding to the population. It's
not that they died off.
Adding diversity to the population. These bees came from California.
Yeah.
And so we're strengthening the bloodline of bees here because they will continue to prosper. They're Cardinolians. And so if we get bees again, we'll get those same bees because they were so welly.
They were so welly.
So welly. Am I upset? Yes, I'm upset. But they did what they had to do. They did what nature intended them to do, and they bounced because they found a threat in their homes.
So, but on that note, this is the second time we've had the wax moth problem. So we're talking about moving the hive to. I mean, we've got 2.5 acres. We'll move it somewhere away from where it is now, and hopefully be able to maintain. Pat's looking at some ideas about putting up swarm traps on some other properties of people that we know, and trying to catch some swarms. We do have a swarm trap on our property now, and he went and looked thinking maybe they moved there, and they didn't. So, or at least at this point, they have not. So that was kind of disappointing, but at the same time, like, bees are bees, and they're gonna be bees anywhere.
It is what it is. It's nature.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
I
got new chicks.
Itty bitties today.
I came home, so Pat was like, yeah, I'm done at the chiropractor. I'm going to stop at the Tractor Supply on the way home, get some feed. And he's like, do you need anything? And I was like, chicks, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. And he just sent back, all right, Hank, because that's our thing. All right, Hank. And so I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't actually expect to get chicks. And then I get home, and I'm getting home, and I'm getting the kid out of the truck, and he's running over to the pool. And Pat was like, I think something's wrong with one of the white chickens. And my heart drops because the white chickens and our red are our oldest chickens. They're still good layers, but they're a couple years old now. So
about to cycle out.
Yeah.
Into the pot.
And so I'm like, well, shit, what happened? Did something get in there? Are the other chickens attacking her? So I'm like instantly devastated because I'm like, we're going to have to kill this chicken tonight. And that's not kind of how I wanted my night to go.
Yeah.
And so I go out there, and they're all in their run, all 4 of them, literally standing in the corner waiting for me to walk up and like chirping at me and stuff. And I'm looking at them through the fence, and I'm like, okay, I don't see anything wrong. And I'm like, I'm looking at them. I'm like, maybe it's in their backside, and I'm only looking at their faces, and I'm like freaking out. And I look at Pat, and I'm like, what's wrong with the chickens? They're all right here. And he was like, oh, well, they were inside when I said that. And I was like, okay, I don't understand. He goes, with your chicks. And I was like, what? And then it dawned on me. So we have 10 new babies.
Yep.
Little babies.
They were $1 a piece.
Yeah, so $10 for 10 new chickens ain't bad at all.
Not bad at all.
So they're in the brooder in the shed. Hey, Beamer.
And so sales like this was $1 per chick. They're pullets, actually female chicks. Well, 90% chance of that they will all be females. But they normally sell between $250 and $350 a piece, especially
pullets are gonna be more expensive.
Straight runs will be about $250. Pullets will be about $350, maybe $4.
Right.
We just saved on 10 chickens.
Go on.
10 chicks.
You figure at least $15.
More than that.
I'm saying at least. If they end up being straight run, you'd think they're pullets, but we're not sure.
I got me chicks and a bag of chick feed for the same price it would be for just the chicks by themselves if they're at normal price.
We got
darn good.
We did get rid of our quail.
Yes.
So we did do that, which part of the agreement was getting more chickens. We liked them. There was nothing wrong with them. We found another kind of homesteading family.
We're not doing this.
And they took them, and it's actually a family of 6. And so they do like kind of homesteading and stuff to help supplement feeding their family.
They were great. They were fantastic.
Yeah, she and her kids came out, the wife and the kids came out and walked around the property, and she fell in love with the turkeys and
had a great time.
Just looked at the rabbits and all that kind of stuff. So definitely it was kind of cool, made new contact, They live about an hour away, so not best friends, but enough that hey, we've got some rabbits, or if and when we decide to get back into quail.
Right.
They already have quail, and she actually brought us some of the eggs from her quail, so that was pretty cool.
With those later, possibly.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. No. But yeah, so we did do that. It's just there's nothing wrong with them, but we weren't getting what we wanted out of it, and
it's not that we weren't getting what we want. We weren't thoroughly invested in it.
Yeah.
Most people get quail to eat them. Or to pickle the eggs, or do something like that. But because we're so busy with this and that and yada yada, pickling eggs, quail eggs are tough.
Yeah,
they're tough little things. And when you hard boil a quail egg, it is hard to get those shells off.
And so it's
just one at a time.
So we just
if we had all the time in the world, it'd be something good.
Yeah, we decided it wasn't the time for us, so we found a good home for them, and they're gonna. I don't know, eat them, use the eggs, I don't know. But she ended up just coming down for 2 sets of a male and 4 to 5 females for like breeding sets.
Yeah.
But then when she came down, we're like, hey, we're gonna give you all of them for the same price, and she was like, hell yeah.
She was happy.
So they're very
good.
happy. Yeah.
Very happy. She was very impressed with the homestead, and they're trying to do the same thing, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, it's kind of cool too. They're prior military as well, and just little things that have in common. But we took a chance, put them out there, and found somebody that's interested in the same type of thing. So it's pretty cool.
Y'all don't mind the mess back here. This is our new office.
Yeah,
Next time.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, I found a desk.
Oh Lord.
So
next time you watch us, that bed will not be in the room.
It will not.
This room is being transformed into a Megan/Patrick
office. Megan's gonna have her own space.
No, we are gonna have our own space.
No, you have your space. We are sitting at it.
Yes.
I will have my own space. That means I can clean out the craft closet and actually have things where I can use them.
Craft closet.
The hallway closet.
Yes, you can.
So I am excited.
Good.
So you made soap.
I made soap.
It was our first time, and by our I mean his. No, I've done the melt and pour stuff, but he actually made it from scratch with lye.
Lye cold processed soap, and it came out kind of chalky. I don't know.
It's
very brittle.
It's got to relax for a while.
It's also with the ingredients and stuff like that. I tried to make with colloidal silver, and so I think that might have messed it up a little bit. Tweaked a little bit.
But we'll use it. We'll see.
We changed the recipe, and yeah, it smells awesome.
So we did that. That's pretty much it.
Work, kids.
Yeah.
I had a great weekend.
It was good. It was productive.
We digress. We're going to go ahead and get into tonight's subject.
So this came up because so tonight's topic is water catchment and rain catchment, whatever. And so I have been wanting, we have totes. How big are they? Like
totes,
300 totes, my goats. We have the big totes, and actually Doc Ferris hooked us up with, and we have one sitting in the front of the house where the rain comes off the gutter and goes into it. But we then put a new roof on the house, and we need to extend. We need to put like a 2x4 up and then put the gutter out because the gutter was here for the old roof and it worked fine. But now the metal roof we put on the house sticks out, so it just shoots.
It's not that it sticks out; it's just the ridges inside the tin.
Yeah.
Shoots past. It shoots out so fast. It shoots past
the gutter. So we need to finagle that.
We really need to just take them off and start from scratch.
Yeah, we do, but we haven't done it yet.
We can also do it on backside.
But then we have another tote that has just been sitting in the yard because we haven't done anything with it. And we're kind of getting into like our summer rainy season here, where we'll get like these really intense thunderstorms almost every day, and they'll dump a ton of rain in about half hour and then move on like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And so for us, it's a perfect. Well, it does get miserable with the humidity, but it's a perfect time to catch water. Very intensely, very short, and it's not like you're actually out there like, come here, water, and so water. And so one of the things I was looking at doing, because like I know we have the things, we need to utilize them, and that's one of the things that we'll collect stuff and we're like, hell yeah, we're gonna do this, and then it sits in our yard for like years.
It's funny because we talk about it, we go, we really need to do it. Everything is already here.
Yeah, like we have everything.
We have it.
We have spare guttering. We got the guttering.
We put the roof on the house.
Yeah,
which was like 2 years. A year and a half ago.
About 2 years ago, honey. It'll be 3 years Christmas.
Two Easters ago.
Yeah.
How about that?
And so it's like we have all the stuff to do it. We just haven't done it. So I've been really thinking about it in like different ways. Like right now we have a big carport thing over our rabbit hutches. And it's perfect. I mean, it's one of the tarp kind of covered ones. Yeah, so it's perfect as like a drop point.
Manipulate.
Yeah, and so about manipulating the tarps and taking the other tote that we're not using at the house out there, because with our animals, even with getting rid of the quail, we still have a ton of chickens. We've got the turkeys, we've got the rabbits, all their babies.
They're closer to the back.
And we have a hose that's run from the house all the way to the back of the yard. So if we can start catching water out there and cycling through that, then that, one, we're not putting more stress on our well and everything, but two, I mean, it's free. It's literally falling from the sky. Why aren't we using it?
Right.
And so that was one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is, damn it, we just need to get it out there, figure out how we're going to do this, create a funnel system from the roof, and make this tote work. It's also out by the garden space where we use, so we can use it for that. You know, it would be very useful out there instead of literally sitting next to my truck in the driveway. So that's why I brought it to Pat. Like, let's talk about rain catchment.
Good subject. And so I spent some time today and got some stuff together, some pictures, some notes, and everything like that. And naturally, with the way things have been going,
his computer
today,
crashed.
Everything died, and I lost everything. So once again, we're gonna wing it.
Yay! I think that should just be our
Wing it Tuesday.
Wing it Tuesday.
So. So just to say this real quick, you know, again, we're putting out suggestions out there. We're not. I really don't like when it does that. It's actually going.
I like. You got to be able to see the chat.
Right, I get it. Okay. That's fine.
Hey, Lone Star.
Hey, Lone Star. We're not subject matter experts, and so
Smeeze.
Smeeze. That's
we're
a
not
military
Smeeze.
term. We're not subject matter experts, but we do feel that we can research enough to extrapolate.
I mean, it depends. I don't know what word you. I mean, extrapolate
to pull out enough information to be useful for you, and give you some ideas to get your imagination going.
Because like the system that I would like to set up for ours is not going to be intense.
Yeah.
Like literally, I was looking at taking feed bags because they're that tarpaulin material,
yep,
and using them to funnel rain from the roof to our tote, possibly with the copious amounts of duct tape. Doesn't have to look beautiful, it just has to work. And that's kind of where we're at.
Right.
And so maybe some framework or whatever with some of the wood that we have, you know, on the side. I haven't talked about this with him. I have an idea in my head.
She didn't talk about anything about that. I was just in the middle of a conversation with you guys, and she's like, and
we'll finish the conversation. I'm gonna go get some tea.
All right, you go get some tea.
Now you can talk.
I'm prepared.
I'm sorry, it's a good book.
Apparently Nora Roberts is the bomb. Guess who introduced her to Nora Roberts? This guy. Anywho, yeah, so take what you can from this information. It's not expert advice, but it's something to get the juices flowing and get you guys into the imagination zone to actually move forward with something. Take a pen and paper and write something down, plan something, and act upon that. And saving water is something that anybody and everybody can do. And if you're a prepper like Brad from Full Spectrum Survival, you'll know that every prepper list starts with one thing. That's water. Water is the most important thing. And Brad will tell you from his channel as well. The power of threes. You live 3 days without water. That's it. 3 days, maybe less. So that's one of the threes. What are you doing?
Coming in with my tea.
What are you doing now?
The page protectors the cats threw on the floor. Get out. Move.
Our dog, May. Can't be anywhere in this house, but right here. Get out. Move. Go on. Do something. All right. So I'm going to pull up image slideshow, and we're going to wing it. Rain Catchment. Isn't that a nice picture?
I like those roofs.
I do too. The terracotta roofs.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty nice. So I do have some notes that were written down. Wrote. And she cannot interpret my notes, so she's looking at it and questioning herself right now, going, "What is that she wrote down?" And so
the only thing I understand is gray water,
which we'll talk about later. Thanks. You want to read anything else off my notes page before I start?
35 gallons.
Fantastic. Good job. All right. So, talking about water, we're talking about rain catchment. Some people will call it recycling rain or rain harvesting. Yeah.
Seriously?
I'm going to harvest some rain from my roof.
This rain's not ripe enough.
And I call it rain catchment because that's what it is. You're catching the rain. You're not going out and just grabbing it like that and putting it in a bucket, but
Come here, rain.
well, it can be anything from just putting a bucket outside in the rain, all the way to
Which we have done.
a full yes.
The last hurricane we did, and we had 5-gallon buckets lined up off the back porch right where it falls down. So that, because I mean, we had no power, so we needed toilet water, we needed shower water, we needed laundry water.
We bathed our son.
We did. We
He had a
did.
blast, and so catchment doesn't have to be hard at all. It really isn't hard at all. When we were kids, we used to just go outside and open our mouths and try to, catch water. It's really that easy. And so, one of the big things I want to talk about is so there's 3 things. The first one is talking about what the big hype on water right now. It's like, oh, we're running out of water. The next war is going to be over the lack of water, lack of drinkable water. And so I came up with a few things. So I didn't come up with it, actually. Pulled up some information from various websites that you guys might be interested in looking at. And so, are we running out of water, and what can we do? So, are we running out of water? Technically, yes and no. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Right?
Not really.
So, stop trying to read the screen.
I'm actually not. I was just staring off into space, listening to you talk.
So, of all the water, all the fresh water that's consumed, how much of it? Well, how much water? I'm trying to think of how to say this. Out of all the fresh water that's consumed in a year, did you know that 70% of it goes to agriculture?
I did not. I would think a lot of it would go to manufacturing, but
manufacturing and agriculture. 70% of it. So the 30% that's left over is what humans drink. That's available for drinkable water, right?
So it's not necessarily running out for people's consumption, but it is at the rate we're going through it for other things.
Exactly. Give you an example. If this were coffee, right here, it's 1 cup of coffee. How many gallons of water do you think it takes to make 1 cup of coffee?
I don't know. Wait, 35 gallons?
Yes, 35 gallons. It takes 35 gallons of water to produce the beans for coffee, to make 1 cup of coffee. That lovely night outfit you got on.
It is a house dress.
Whatever.
That covers my bits and pieces.
How many gallons do you think it took to make the cotton on that?
I don't know. 400.
Yeah. 3,000 gallons of water. And so it's things like that cause a water shortage. Another thing is when people are going towards aquifers, springs, and natural water sources that are available to us, they deplete them because the population keeps growing. We're above 8 billion people now. And the population keeps growing, and that access to that water that we have easy access to is running out. Those aquifers are running low. But that still doesn't mean there's not an abundance of fresh water available. The reason why we have issues with it is because it's hard to get to.
Yeah.
Guess what? The North Pole, South Pole is made of ice, frozen water, frozen fresh water. That's why it floats like that. And so we can't necessarily get to it. Water is very heavy. It's very heavy to transport, and that's one reason why that you talk about Africa. Is the issue is the water is available. It's just too far away. They can't go back and forth every day over a long distance because 1 out of every 9 people in this world do not have access to fresh, clean water within 30 miles of their home.
It's crazy to me. Like, I cannot imagine.
So,
like, I can't imagine life without clean water. Like, that is insane.
And sanitation is another thing. Is people will gather to a point to where they have to have water, and they'll destroy it because of poor sanitation and everything like that, and it goes right back to the water.
You see that now in a lot of countries.
Over 300,000 kids die from diarrhea, dysentery, other things they get from the water every year.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Like, I literally cannot imagine not being able to go and turn a faucet on or go to, like, in the yard and get water.
Yeah. So a gallon of water costs it weighs 8.3 pounds.
I didn't know the 0.3, but I knew it weighed 8 pounds.
That's heavy. That's heavy, and that's the reason why there's such an issue with people having access to water. They just don't have access to where it's at, or it's so nasty, it's
You
worthless.
can't do anything with it.
And some of it's running out, and we can't access it. So that's what was on my notes right here. That's what I want to talk to first, and then I want to talk about actual rain catchment system, and then an update on people who have laws restricted against them, saying they can't collect their own water that falls on their own property. And so, pull this back up here again. Here's a little progress chart here. I'm going to blow this guy up. And take it off because we're not going to talk about that just yet. So, let me get my actual page up here. So what are the benefits of collecting rainwater? Well, the first and foremost, she's already mentioned it, is rainwater is relatively clean and an absolutely free source. How much does it cost?
$0.
$0. It may take a little investment for you to get a catchment system together, but
The source itself is free.
The source itself is free. Endless supply of water. You have control over your supply. So if you collect water, the city can't tax you on that water. Most municipalities have water meters on every house, so it doesn't matter if you're watering your garden, you're watering your plants, you're using water in your house. They charge you per gallon of water regardless.
That was one of the things that we had problems with in Laurinburg is we used a lot of water in our garden, and they rate the sewage charges
high water bills
because it wasn't because of the water usage itself, but for every gallon that came into the house, we were charged a certain amount as a sewage fee.
Right.
And so we went and talked to them and was like, "Hey guys, we're not pooping that much. This is going in our garden. Can we have a it's just the two of us, and can we get a second meter that's just for the water? We can put it on another outlet thing in the front of the house." And they were like, "No, we don't do that anymore." And we're like, "Well, what the heck?" Because it was talk about like tripling.
Yeah,
it was
an $80 sewage bill in the summertime.
Yeah.
When normally it's about $15.
Yeah, and so it was not great. So there are places
times were
like
tight
that.
back then. Every penny count. We pinched. I think we had a total budget of like $200 a month for all of our food.
It was ridiculous, and so $80 was huge.
Huge. It was huge,
and it sucked because here we are trying to sustain ourselves and supplement and do what we can with what we have, and we're being restricted on something that had nothing to do with it.
So if you are restricted, if you need to live in a municipality where you have municipal water, consider collecting your own rainwater. It doesn't take a whole lot. We'll talk about the different types of systems that are available here shortly. It's socially acceptable and environmentally responsible. We kind of need to do it because everybody should be doing it. What everybody should be thinking about is tomorrow's generation and not currently what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because eventually we may have to get to the point where we have a water collecting system, because the municipal water could be so toxic that it's undrinkable, or the well can go dry, or something else. And so you have a backup for a backup, and you have a full rain catchment system. There's also places out there that fully rely on catchment systems.
Yeah.
People out in Arizona, they only get so many inches of rain per year, and they have to capture that in order to keep it
and to utilize
to be able to live. So let's say the municipal water went out in Las Vegas, a lot of people would have to move pretty quickly because there's not enough water to sustain Las Vegas. And so it promotes self-sufficiency and helps conserve water. Rainwater is better on your landscape plants and gardens because it's not chlorinated.
Which we don't have an issue now because we have the well.
Right.
But our water in Laurinburg was highly chlorinated.
It smelled like pool water coming straight from the tap.
Yeah, so you can only imagine what it's going to do to plants.
It's not going to be well for your plants. And they can live off of chlorinated water, and take it, but it's going to impact the health of the plant. And it's also going to grow inside the plant and
Yeah.
return back when you eat it. It can solve the drainage problems on your property while you provide free water for yourself. It uses simple technologies that are inexpensive and easy to maintain. Okay, how hard is it to collect rainwater?
I mean, not very.
Not very. There, I'm collecting rainwater. It's not a hard technology. There's nothing technical about it, difficult
I mean, it can be.
But you can keep it simple.
Yeah.
And collect rainwater.
It just depends on what you want out of your system. Like
Sure.
for us, we're looking to supplement our well, not necessarily power the whole house.
Yeah, right.
So, we have different attitude than somebody going into it that needs it for their house, and that's the only way they're going to be able to bathe and cook and stuff like that. So,
but it could be at that point someday.
And it could be, but right now,
the system can easily be retrofitted and existing to an existing structure or built during new home construction. We'll talk about that as well here in a little bit. Systems are very flexible and can be modular in nature, allowing expansion, reconfiguration, relocation, and it can provide an excellent backup source of water for emergencies.
Which that last one is also important to us, because if we lose power, we lose our well. And until we can get a hand pump installed, we don't have water. And so catchment for us, like during the hurricane, was huge. I mean, we do keep water in the house.
Yeah, we do have a spring on the property, but it'd be very difficult to collect water immediately because I would have to dig a trench. I would have to do all this stuff in order to have a deep enough space to collect water for drinking. So it's important to have our son, if you hear that in the background, our son is still awake.
He's been in his room for almost 2 hours now.
And he's having a blast.
So obviously not tired.
Obviously not tired. So why is rainwater harvesting important?
I don't know how where you're at note wise, but it's already 9:40. So
okay,
I didn't know if you wanted to move along.
I am moving along, but if you keep interrupting,
I'm not. But a lot of that is literally what we've been talking about.
Exactly, it's part of it, and this is part of what we're talking about. So if you let me do it, we can go through it.
All right, Hank.
Before you do it, you must go through it.
Oh yes, I blew it.
Oh, or else I blew it.
No. Oh yes.
The happy little bluebird left a happy little doo-doo on your hand. And so, whatever. This is a graphic showing you what water consumption has been like, and what the country as a whole is doing is they're creating new technologies to keep you from expending so much water as before. We got something from Duke saying, "Hey, you're using too much water. Let's get you some faucet reducers." And stuff like that.
Yeah, they sent it out to everybody.
So here's just a quick graphic. It's an old graphic, obviously, but it shows you from 1960 to 2005 how much less water we use to preserve drinking water.
Can you imagine 6 gallons going through your toilet?
We had 6 gallons going through our toilets when we first moved here. Those toilets had big tanks. So toilets went from 6 gallons, they're down to 1.2. They've gone to half flushes now, which is usually about half a gallon.
See, they have that in Europe too. You see that a lot. You got the button on the top, and it's like a little half button is just for your pee, and then you push the full button if you blew it out.
Yeah. Yes. Dishwashers have gone from 15 to about 7 gallons. Ours uses 6, I'm going to say.
Doesn't?
Around there. And what it does is it takes the cleaning water, it swishes it around and reuses that cleaning water in jets to clean the dishes, rinses it, and then dries it. And then the biggest one is clothes washing. Went from 40 gallons to about 10. That's substantial.
That's significant.
And they do this on purpose to preserve the amount, because a municipality can only regurgitate so much fresh cleaning water from other locations, including sewage, but to get to these people. And so today's society could not last at 1960s water consumption days. Of course, the population's almost doubled since then, so it wouldn't be what's going on. So quick question of the day is just how much rainwater can we collect? And here's a graphic showing you exactly, this is take this lightly because we've gotten a lot more rain than this. But take the graphic and find your location on the map. I'll make it a little bit bigger here. And find where you're at. And it shows you in precipitation how many inches falls in your area. And I would say that's about right. Ours is 50 to 60 ish.
We're kind of on the line.
We're kind of on the line.
So I would say in between 40 and 60.
But we've surpassed that this past year.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. And some people are lower. But there are people that have less than 4 inches of rain.
Look at that purple out on the west coast.
Yeah, that's
100 inches of rain.
That's crazy. But you can use this to figure out what kind of rain catchment system you're going to want to have for your home. Bring this back up a little bit. So next slide.
Basic rain barrel.
Yeah, what's the different methods of collecting rainwater? So this is a rain barrel. This is just this right here is a looks like a recycled pickle barrel. And it's got a screw top lid on it. We had these at the old house. We put a screen on top so the mosquitoes couldn't get in. And
it also helps keep debris out.
Do the same thing, right?
Because we did the same thing, like off the gutter. Now I don't like the positioning unless there's a tube inside of their hose.
Right.
I feel like it should be further down, but that's whatever. But yeah, we had the rain barrel thing. We put screen over it, so like very small screen, so that bugs couldn't get into it, and it would coming out of it came off our carport, which had trees over it, so there were leaves and stuff that would get in the gutters,
right? And
so it helped keep most of the debris out.
It worked out really well.
It did.
And so pros of having a rain barrel system: this is just the easiest way to get rain at not very expensive. You do not have to have a spigot on it. You can install one yourself if you want to. That's what YouTube's for. Pros: easily implemented by anyone who has at any residence. Barrels are readily available in your community or various stores or website. Craigslist is a great place to go.
Yeah.
And barrels don't take up that much space.
Yeah.
So what are the cons, honey?
I mean, you got to use the water. They grow stuff really quick if you don't paint them black.
Right.
But also, they don't hold a whole lot. Like, it depends on the size of your barrel.
Right. And the capacity is not that great. It's 52 to 100 gallons. It really all depends on what kind of barrel you get. But once it's full, it's full. And
that's it.
That's it. 50 gallons is 50 gallons, but it's still not a whole lot of water in terms of watering your garden or stuff like that. Because we just talked about how much
you actually
use in growing. So next up, you got your dry system. So this method is a variation of the rain barrel setup, but involves larger storage volume. Essentially, the collection pipe dries after each rain event since it empties directly into the top of a tank. And so the pros with this is you can store a larger amount of rainwater. Instead of using a rain barrel, you're using a bigger tank. It's great for climates where rainfall happens with infrequency or there's larger storm events.
So like a hurricane comes through,
right?
Your little 50-gallon, 55-gallon pickle barrel is going to fill up quick.
Very quick.
Where you've got several hundred gallons, you've got space.
Right. It can be inexpensive to implement. You could use things like we use this. We have these on the homestead. It's a 330 gallon food grade totes.
Yep.
Totes. And so going back to that real quick, the cons of having this is the storage tank must be located next to your house. Now, how important is that? If you have an HOA, this is not going to happen. If you're in a homeowners association and you put a rain barrel like this up on your lawn, you're going to get a notification really quick to get that ugly tank out of the side of the house, because this is an HOA. We want to look proper. Now pay us $50 for
our time. Yeah.
So there's other alternatives for those people who have issues like that, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So that's one of the cons. Now, next system is called the wet system. This method involves locating the collection pipes underground in order to connect multiple downspouts from different gutters. The rainwater will fill the underground piping, and the water will rise in the vertical pipes until it spills into the tank. The downspouts and underground collection piping must have watertight connections, PVC, steel, so on and so forth. The elevation of the tank inlet must be lower than the gutter of the house. Of course, that's the level system. As long as it's lower, it'll spill over that pipeline at the top of the tank and spill into the tank. So the pros: the ability to collect from your entire collection surface, and so
That's actually a really good pro.
isn't that a pro?
Yeah.
So
like,
here I
that's-
got something for you right here. 1 inch of rain fall on a 2,000 square foot roof equals 1,250 gallons of water.
Like that's significant, and you got to figure like we have, our house is what, 1,200 square feet.
About 1,250.
So
square
you
feet.
with the roof on it, like, but we only catch on one side, the front of the house, and we don't even catch that well right now.
Right.
But can you imagine catching
right now we use our storm gutters when it's raining hard for two things: one, to catch water if we need it,
and two to shower?
toilet flushing, and two for showering in the rain, which I highly recommend.
Yes, get naked, get in your
naked
yard,
and have some fun.
take a shower.
So if somebody's looking, whatever.
If somebody's looking at my naked rear end in our house, in our driveway, we have other issues.
Yeah.
Because
So, and I don't worry about drones.
Yeah.
At all. It's another pro is the ability to collect from multiple gutters and downspouts. The tank can be located away from your house as long as it's lower than the house. How cool is that?
It's pretty cool, but
Pretty smart,
I feel like that's also a very expensive system.
That's part of the cons. More expensive to implement due to underground piping. Sufficient difference between gutters and tank inlets must be available. So there are.
I mean, that is a
downsides
nice
to that.
system, and that's that's awesome.
People in Arizona and other places that don't get a whole lot of rain rely on systems like that. They have to catch every inch of water in order to offset their restrictions. So sometimes they're only allowed so many gallons of municipal water a day. They'll have their water actually cut off, so they do have to have a backup to flush the toilets, to take showers, or to let the kids play in the sprinkler. Yeah, when there's water restrictions. So the next thing is a complete water. Oh, here's a couple other ideas.
See, there was one that I found like this. It was a company out of New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an
New Zealand
entire
and Australia
system.
are huge already.
Yeah. And basically, instead of having like the barrel or whatever outside your house, you can get these bladders. And it's the same sort of system, from your gutters down through the piping into the bladder. But as in like this picture, you can put the bladder under your house. You can put it under a porch. So it takes away that ugly rain barrel detractor from your yard. And then they sell entire systems that then would pump, which this one looks like it has, pumped that water into your house system.
Yeah.
So it's more, instead of just like what we want to use it for, gardening, our outdoor animals, stuff like that, they are more geared to being able to fully utilize this catched water in the house.
Yeah, we were just talking about HOAs.
Yeah. This would be a way to get around it.
If they can't see it, they don't know it's there. They don't have to know it's there.
And it's just, you get into systems like that, though, and they're expensive.
If you can afford an HOA, you can afford an underground.
Yeah, but who wants an HOA?
I don't know. If you have an HOA, get out as soon as possible. There's no profit in it whatsoever. Next. Keep going. Yes, Slowpoke. So this is an in-ground system. And same deal. It's below the house line, but it's going under the ground and it's covered with dirt. This one is actually called the bagel.
Of course it is.
They have a smaller one that's round. It's called the donut. And the reason why it's structured like that is because that particular tank right there is being buried underneath the driveway. It is structurally sound to drive anything over it because of the way it's made and molded. It is set so if any weight goes on top of it,
it distributes it.
It distributes the weight. How cool is that?
That is actually pretty cool.
I like the name.
Yeah.
So this is a full water system inside a house. This is how there's two ways. There's two things. There's gray water, and then there's drinking water. The difference between the two, well, actually, I'll take that back. There is potable water and drinking water. Gray water is totally different. We'll talk about that next week. And so that's our next week's topic, by the way.
Lovely.
So potable water is water that you can use for your toilets and outdoor activities, as far as watering the garden, everything like that. And drinking water is potable water that's been filtered and is consumable, and you can bathe in it.
I always thought potable water was consumable.
Not necessarily.
I legit. I just thought because you see the farm trucks non-potable and potable.
Right, or non-potable.
Yeah.
And so you can see here, the rain goes from the top of the terracotta roof, goes down the spout, goes into the tank that's in the ground. From that point, there's a small filter in there. It goes into the filtration system that's inside the bathroom right there, the water treatment. It goes to the rest of the house. These people in this house drink their rainwater.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Which has a natural higher pH. It's not acidic like most municipalities are. Most municipalities have a minimum of 6 in their pH level, and neutral is about 7.3, 7.8. And so you want a higher pH because it makes it more alkaline instead of acidic, and that's what your body needs. And that's really it, I think. So again, you like my little graphic?
Oh, it's raining on my head.
Yeah. 1 inch of water rainfall on 2,000 square feet of roof equals 1,250 gallons of water. And thank you.
You're welcome.
She's in a hurry to get out of here, folks.
I am not. Well, I have a book to get back to, but I'm not in a hurry.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Chop, chop. We got 7 minutes. Chip or chop.
Yeah, exactly. We could have dragged that out for another 7 minutes.
But I didn't want to. We're supposed to be enlightening the people.
We are enlightening the people. So speaking of enlightenment, this is the last section. A lot of people will come back and say it's illegal in Colorado to collect rainwater. And so there was a point where collecting rainwater was illegal, and it's still illegal in some parts of the states, United States, to collect rainwater that falls on your property. It belongs to the county, to the state, to the country. Beyond that point,
when you get charged with theft,
you can.
Well, if you catch it before it hits the ground, does that count?
There was this dude in Oregon, and he made a water cistern system on his farm that collected some really ridiculous amount of rainwater. It was 30 million gallons of water, and that water was on a direct path to a water reservoir for a town, and he collected all that water, and the town got nothing. The town charged him with theft, and he spent time in prison because of that.
Holy cow!
Yeah. And so I cannot remember the name of the guy. Just look it up. It's on Snopes as well. I verified it that way. But in the state of Colorado, it's the same thing. All the water, you're disrupting a system that's already made naturally. All the water is supposed to go downhill naturally to a reservoir where they can collect it, distribute it, so on and so forth. And so back in 2016, they actually passed a bill to allow Colorado residents to have 2 rain barrels on their property. And so you can have 2 rain barrels at one point. I think the maximum is 60 gallons per rain barrel. And so it's something. It's better than nothing.
I mean,
right?
It is better than nothing.
And so for those of you folks saying it's still illegal, everything like that, yes, it is. However, they have made exceptions, and they're lightening up to the fact.
I mean, I guess in a way it does make sense because, like you said, that town relied on that water, and he, I mean, I know he probably wasn't doing it to be malicious. He's got a farm. We're trying to do our farm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I totally see both sides, but that's just still crazy to me. It falls out of the sky. It's literally no one's.
Right. Except yours, because
and
it's
everyone's.
on your property.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same question as saying, shouldn't you own everything above your property? The sky above your property should be yours, right?
Can we have a little no-fly zone?
I guess. That's not true. There's a ceiling on our property, 62 feet. So if a drone comes above that 62 feet, if we shoot it down, we could be held liable for that. But they have to prove it's above 62 feet. It's some toy. It's coming down anyway. They're going to hit one of the pine trees.
Right. Yeah.
So just a little something, put a little information in your pocket, get those juices flowing, put some pen on some paper, and come up with your own rain catchment system. Even if you don't have one. If you live in the city, think about putting something on your balcony.
Did you have a picture of the one I found?
What?
The one you said looked like a pregnant lady?
I could pull it up.
Because you're talking about living in the city, like you can even do it down on like a balcony or something.
Let me see if I can find it here quick.
It should be in the chat.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Bear with us, folks. I'm looking up a link.
But yeah, my goal, I have to work this weekend, but my goal is to be able to... no.
Raindrops go. NZ.
No, that's the bladder one. It's the other one. Yes, it is, Patrick. No, it's not. NZ is New Zealand.
It is New Zealand.
Boom! Bladder. It's the other one.
One day, I'm going to make a website which happens to be made easy, and you won't be able to access it. All right, let me move this over to my other screen here. We'll pull it up. It looks like a pregnant woman peeing. I don't know how else to say it.
So this is it was actually created as it was an art project by this designer, and a company that does pottery and sells a lot in Europe and the UK has actually like purchased the design rights or whatever and makes these for people to use in their garden. And it's basically like it's just a formed thing that you can mount and hook to your downspout, and it collects water. It has an integrated watering can, but then it also has a spout at the bottom. And I just thought it was pretty cool. Like, it's definitely very kitschy.
Right.
And not necessarily homesteady, but I thought it was a pretty cool option if you can't have like a big ugly rain barrel, or you live in an apartment, or apparently we have YouTube Inception.
I'm changing it.
Oh. I didn't know if they could see that or not.
I can now.
So this is the pregnant lady. I showed it to Pat, and he says he thinks it looks like a pregnant lady. If you scroll down, I think there's more pictures.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
So here we are.
So yeah, so that's basically, that's what it looks like. And I thought it was pretty cool. A lot of, Europeans in a sense do a lot more with renewable resources overall, I feel like. And so I just thought it was a cool, interesting design. She looks quite happy using it in her garden. Do you like that one? You can see like the whole thing. Yeah, one of those ones. I just thought it was a cool take on something, it's definitely started as an art and design project, but, they were taking something that's ugly and trying to make it pretty, and sometimes you have to entice people to take that step, but I just thought it was pretty cool. Obviously not useful in terms of higher volume storage or, trying to water your house. You're not going to water your house with a pregnant lady peer.
It's obviously it's a bit ridiculous. But it's designed to entice people to want to get it.
And they also talk about it that it is for the use of watering your flowers. And if you have something that's fun and beautiful, that you'll be more enticed to save the rainwater and water your flowers with it and stuff like that. So it is geared towards that market. Is also quite expensive. I think it was like 260 something euros.
That's expensive.
So it's a very expensive rainwater, but I don't know. Our plan, I have to work this weekend, but my plan is on Sunday once I get home from work to come up with actually doing our rain catchment system. So if we do actually do it, we'll definitely take some pictures and share them with you next week.
Atlas walked away. It says, can we quickly step back to the mysterious non-consumable potable water? It's my
Good.
that was my fault. It's potable water and then there's
Yeah.
unfiltered water. So if you're upset by that, it's too bad. I'm sorry. So
It's unacceptable.
Indeed, MBGM, I've always been under the impression that potable literally means consumable.
Yeah.
It is.
He was wrong. Y'all heard it here first.
Mark
Does
in
that
books.
mean I win homesteading to the death? Because you were
Homesteading
wrong.
to the death. I'm gonna play that intro. one
No,
more time.
please don't.
But that's
But
pretty
yeah.
much our show. And folks, again, we're trying to help people by giving them a little bit of knowledge to help out, to get your brains working, to think about doing something that would help your homestead.
Yeah.
Or to create a homestead.
Like, our system's not going to be great, but it's going to work for what we want it to work for, and that's all we need it to work for.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think we get
people take that too literally sometimes.
Well, no, I was going to say you get too overwhelmed. Like, oh, I have to catch every drop of rain. But you don't. You just need to catch what you need it for. And, we're not looking to fill a bladder under our house and live off rainwater. Nope. We don't need to right now. Doesn't mean we won't view that in the future, but right now, that's not our goal. Our goal is to be able to water our animals, water the garden, have a little extra if we need it come storm season.
All right,
and that's
thank you,
it.
Atlas. Appreciate it.
So you called him out.
Yeah, you win. He wins.
You went homesteading to the death. But yeah, just look at it small. Take it one project at a time. That's what we're planning on doing. And then we'll go from there and grow it as we need to grow it.
So I think next week we should talk about gray water.
I guess we're talking about gray water next week.
Yeah, that's a whole different subject. And that's something you can implement in your home to save much, much more water. And it goes along the line of permaculture as well.
Okay.
Interesting stuff. And so getting our trailer, our travel trailer, it's a complete system that has fresh water and gray water and black water.
Yeah, that's where your poo goes.
And so coming up with the ideas of what you can do for that.
Yeah.
And what you can do.
He's been researching a lot about shitters this week. So.
Sure have. It's very interesting.
He also taught our son that word, which was also fun.
And she repeats it.
So I do.
She says it a lot more than I do.
Yeah, but he said it, and then Huxley went, shitter!
Yeah.
He's very proud of his new word.
Yeah, very proud. So I'm Patrick.
I'm Megan.
Please join us every Tuesday night, Eastern Standard Time at 9 p.m. We come up with a different subject. If you guys feel like you want to add a subject or have an idea for a show, please email us at breakawayhomesteader@gmail.com. Feel free to write to us if you want to. P.O. Box 736,
Vass, North Carolina
28394, and we'll be happy to reply to that as well. And so until next Tuesday, we'll see you guys around.
To the death.
To the death.